Despite NBA players being under constant spotlight, some still managed to not stay out of trouble, leading to some being arrested. The Phoenix Suns acquired Richaun Holmes during the offseason with the trade to the Philadelphia 76ers for cash consideration. He became a fan favorite in Phoenix because of his insane effort and energy. But on May 22nd, 2019, he was arrested in Miami, Florida for the possession of marijuana, and he became the second Phoenix Sun player to get in trouble with the law that month. Holmes was driving around with his friends when they were pulled over because the driver wasn't wearing a seatbelt. During the traffic stop, the police officers smelled marijuana and everyone was asked to exit the car. After searching the car, police noticed the marijuana joint still hot in the cup holder next to Holmes, who was sitting in the back seat. The cannabis found was reported to be 20 grams or less, and Holmes was arrested with a misdemeanor marijuana possession charge, and he was taken to Miami-Dade County Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, where he posted bond after spending several hours sitting in jail. The NBA's marijuana penalties for first violation has no penalty. Second violation is $25,000 fine, and the third violation is a 5-game suspension. But the NBA does not proceed to do anything unless the player is guilty. On May 10th, 2019, Josh Jackson was charged with escape and resisting arrest while at a music festival at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. Jackson was arrested after he reportedly tried to enter a restricted area and repeatedly ignored the officers' orders. When the officers told him multiple times that he couldn't enter the VIP section without a pass, Jackson ignored him anyways and tried to enter. After Jackson was handcuffed and asked to sit on a golf cart and wait, he got up and ran from the arresting officer. After being recaptured, he was taken to the stadium's correction office at Hard Rock Stadium, where he was taken for processing. The new Phoenix Sun head coach Monty Williams had a lot to say about this incident. During an interview, he said, "I don't publicly talk about someone's situation off the floor. I don't think that's fair. I think the NBA does that too much and I don't want to do that." Williams continued into the interview, calling him a talented young man, and also said, "When I was in management in San Antonio, I followed him in college at Kansas a little bit. I'm familiar with him. A lot of these guys need to know they're okay, but they need to improve. All of us can make better decisions off the floor, and I'm the head of that line. I just didn't get caught, and that's a reality, so I'm not going to comment on his off-the-court stuff. I want to be a part of the solution if I can, and I think that's where we made an impact on our young men." Jackson was enrolled in the 6-month diversion program in June 2019, so he could have the charge of misdemeanor of resisting arrest without violence removed from his record. Jackson then got a second chance in the NBA when he was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. Tyler Dorsey, Atlanta Hawks point guard, was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence after police stopped his Land Rover while driving in Oregon. Dorsey, who had just finished his rookie season with the Hawks, pulled over by the police outside of Eugene, Oregon, home of the University of Oregon, where he'd played college basketball before being drafted. Dorsey was pulled over at 2:30 a.m. after he was driving down the street in his SUV without any lights on. And shortly after being booked, he was released on a bail of $590. Eugene police spokesman Melinda was in an interview with USA Today Sports and said, "Upon speaking with Dorsey, the officer suspected impairment. There was an open container of alcohol on the passenger side floorboard, and after an investigation, Dorsey was charged with DUI, driving without lights, and open container." Dorsey's attorney entered the no contest plea, and because of that, the state prosecutors dismissed Dorsey's open container charge, and the judge issued a $100 to $70 fine, but Dorsey didn't attend the hearing. Charlotte Hornets shooting guard Malik Monk, who averaged 5 points and 1.2 assists in the first half of his rookie season, got into some trouble during the All-Star break. On February 18th, 2018, Monk was charged with careless driving by the police in Arkansas after he crashed his 2002 red Lexus into a gate near the University of Arkansas Fayetteville campus around 6 a.m. And a witness told police that he heard a loud noise when he saw the vehicle hit the gates. Monk crashed into the gates outside of the college campus, and during an interview with the police, he told the cops, "I looked down for a second and I just hit a bump." The car was reported to have encountered a lot of damage, but there was no information on whether or not Monk had attained any injuries during the accident. Monk was also charged with not having any proof of car insurance after the incident, and a tow form that was released showed that the front end and various engine components were damaged. Atlanta Hawks forward DeAndre Bembry was arrested on February 9th, 2018 for reckless driving and speeding during early morning hours in Atlanta. DeAndre was spotted by police driving 128 miles per hour during a suspected street race, and he was pulled over after the cops spotted his purple Dodge Charger apparently racing on an interstate in northeast Atlanta. Officer Donald Hanna told the Journal-Constitute that he saw a purple Dodge Charger driven by the Hawks forward traveling at a high rate of speed south of Buford Highway. Both vehicles were changing lanes and appearing to be racing each other as they traveled on I-85, approaching the Buford Highway exit at speeds visually estimated to be close to 150 miles per hour in a 55-mile-per-hour speed limit zone. DeAndre was arrested for reckless driving and speeding, and he was later released on bond. During an interview with TMZ, the Atlanta Hawks said, "We're aware of the incident involving DeAndre earlier this morning, and we're still gathering information as it pertains to the situation. Out of respect for the legal process, we'll have no further comment at this time." Zach Randolph, a forward for the Sacramento Kings, was arrested in Los Angeles for the possession of marijuana with the intent to sell. Randolph was one of 3 people who were being detained because of a loud group that saw 6 cop cars get vandalized. Randolph was later arrested for the intent to sell marijuana because of the amount that he had in his possession. Police told TMZ that Randolph had roughly 2 pounds of marijuana and a large backpack when arrested. And the whole reason the cops got called to the Nickerson Gardens housing project in southern Los Angeles was because of a loud group of people who were reported drinking, smoking, and blocking the road. Randolph was later arrested and he's being held at $20,000 bond, but the prosecutors changed his charge to a misdemeanor marijuana possession charge and resisting arrest. During an interview, Randolph said, "I'm not speaking a lot about it, but I feel I was wrongfully arrested. Things that were put out there weren't true. I don't want to be a distraction to my team, my organization, so I'm just going to move forward and play basketball. Randolph was one of 3 people to flee the area from the police, and he was facing up to a year in jail. But he went into the court case with a no contest plea for resisting arrest, and he was able to get a deal with the court, which consisted of him serving 150 hours of community service. After his court date, Randolph had some words to say about dodging jail time. During an interview, he said, "I want to thank my agent, my attorney, my family, the Sacramento Kings, friends and fans who've supported me during this incident. I want to assure all of my fans that I did nothing wrong, and I'm glad to have this incident behind me." Dennis Schroeder played professionally in Germany before being drafted by the Atlanta Hawks in 2013, but late in September 2017, Dennis was charged with a domestic violence charge after a fight at a hookah bar, and he was one of 4 to receive this charge. Video footage from the hookah bar showed Dennis, among others, arguing with an individual, and Dennis was reported to have pushed the victim and continued to punch and kick him repeatedly until security stopped him. The victim's medical records showed that he suffered a torn meniscus and a torn ACL, which required multiple surgeries and months of rehab to recover. Dennis is now facing a charge with aggravated battery, and if convicted of the felony, could be facing up to 20 years in prison. The Atlanta Hawks were not pleased with their point guard's actions. They said they will be taking disciplinary action on him after it's settled in court. General manager of the Atlanta Hawks said that behavior is unacceptable and will not be tolerated by the Hawks organization and will result in discipline for Dennis at the appropriate time once the matter has been more fully developed through the law enforcement process and otherwise. Dennis has accepted responsibility for his actions. He looks forward to learning from this incident and focusing on the season. And after one of Dennis's court dates, he finally opened up about the topic. During an interview, the 24-year-old said, "I've been here for 4 years, came here at 19. I think I showed improvement every year. I'm just trying to get better every day and try to learn. I think we're all human beings. Everybody makes mistakes. Try to learn from it and keep earning my teammates' trust." The point guard for the Toronto Raptors, Kyle Lowry, had a tremendous career so far in the Raptors, but when he was a point guard for the Houston Rockets beforehand, his success in the NBA was questioned. During a pickup game at a Las Vegas training gym, Lowry threw the basketball at a female referee multiple times and threatened her, which resulted in him facing charges of misdemeanor battery. The victim in this case is 30-year-old Infinity Robinson, who was officiating the game that Lowry was playing in. After the game, he threw the ball at her along with cursing at her, and the ball hit her with such force that it knocked her back into the chair. And Robinson said that if she wasn't bent over changing her shoe, the ball could have broken her nose. Corey Maggette of the Charlotte Bobcats approached Robinson and apologized on behalf of Lowry's actions. She also told police that Lowry came up to apologize as well, and he said, "I truly apologize for what I did. I let my emotions get the best of me." After the game, the 2 male referees officiating the game backed Robinson's story and said that Lowry was abusive towards all of them, and referee Bob McCrory believed that Lowry couldn't control his emotions when it came to playing basketball. Lowry is facing up to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine, but because he didn't actually strike Robinson with his fist and apologized as well, an investigator believed that he wouldn't serve any jail time and he'd be fined the maximum of $1,000. Los Angeles Lakers guard Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was arrested early in the morning for suspicion of driving while intoxicated. Caldwell-Pope was arrested when he was playing for the Detroit Pistons, and the arrest came hours after he lost to the Miami Heat 97-96. Caldwell-Pope was pulled over for speeding as he was going 45 miles per hour at a 25-mile-per-hour zone and blew a blood alcohol level higher than the legal limit. He blew a 0.098 during a breathalyzer test at the police station, but he previously blew a 0.08, and he told the police that he had 2 glasses of Hennessy and that he kept his drink at check because he knew he had to drive. He was issued a ticket for operating a vehicle while intoxicated, and he was released from the Auburn Hill police station. Caldwell-Pope then pleaded guilty for violation of his probation in Michigan by failing to comply with the drug and alcohol screening program put into place after his arrest for the DUI. Although he received a jail sentence of 25 days, the prosecuting office in Auburn Hills, Michigan allowed him to serve a sentence at Seal Beach Police Department, located about 30 miles away from the Staples Center where he played for the Los Angeles Lakers. As a part of the deal, Caldwell-Pope would also receive 12 months probation along with the 25-day jail sentence. He's also allowed to practice with the Lakers and play during home games, even while serving the sentence, which is also a part of the deal. During an interview, Caldwell-Pope said, "It's been very disappointing to me as well. As far as my teammates, I feel like I let them down as well. My coaches, the organization, I'd have to deal with this legal situation that came with it." The Los Angeles Lakers organization didn't really have that much to say about the situation, but during an interview with the Los Angeles Times, the Lakers released a statement saying, "This is a legal matter stemming from an incident that occurred last season, while Kentavious was a member of another NBA team. The Los Angeles Lakers are abiding by the terms of the program for Kentavious that were established for him by a court in the state of Michigan. As such, we have no further comment at this time." On July 29, 2018, J.R. Smith, the 32-year-old Cleveland Cavalier guard, was arrested for criminal mischief for breaking a fan's cell phone while walking down the street. The fan tried to take a video of JR outside of a Manhattan pizzeria in the middle of the night, and the 20-year-old man told police that he was on a busy block at 2:45 a.m. when he noticed Smith and tried to take a video of him on Snapchat. The man alleged that JR snatched the phone out of his hand and launched it across 10th Avenue into a construction site, breaking the screen. And then the victim flagged down a patrol car, who then looked for Smith but couldn't find him. But Smith turned himself in the next morning. He was charged with a misdemeanor charge of criminal mischief, and he was released with a summons to appear in court on a later date. Smith's attorney wasn't pleased with the charge. He said, "This is nonsense. We're not responding to this nonsense." He was issued a ticket. Smith had to pay $600 $1,000 to replace the gentleman's iPhone 6S, and he received an adjournment and contemplation of dismissal, meaning that as long as he stays out of trouble, the 4th-degree criminal mischief charge will be dropped. Outside of a courtroom in Manhattan, Smith's lawyer said this during an interview. The case is dismissed. He's going to Cleveland. The charge was Smith's 5th charge, which made him the most charged active player in the NBA. Hey, yo, dog. I need you to do me a big favor, bro. Click on this video on the screen. Seriously, dude. This video right here, big fire. Probably the most firest video you will ever witness in your life. And you're making a big mistake by not clicking on it right now. So what are you doing, bro? Just click on it.